What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out this segment of the main show. Be sure to check out the full EXFIL podcast at youtube.com/xpmedia now. I think, in general, if they're going to do an interface like that, they should also create like an add-on interface as well. Make the game have a fairly accessible API that the servers can dump out data for, what you're doing and how you've done. And that would include all kinds of things too, right? Dump your stats for your character in real time so that you could maybe create leaderboards or create different kinds of competitions for different maps for different things. And so I think that is definitely there's a place for all of that kind of thing, whether it's making clips of playing to show off something or whether it's creating a stream of data that you can do to also turn that into some kind of way to show off how awesome you are. Also, too, then you've got a data feed that you can take from a programmer perspective and turn it into add-ons to make the in-game economy go easier. Now, I'm obviously partial to this. I want this. I want a reliable way to take care of the flea market without having to log into the game. I mean, in Ronald's perfect world, I would have an app that I could download that I could buy and sell things with. On my phone, while in between, also maintain my hideout, while in between play sessions, right? Make sure that I keep my stuff building and I keep everything kind of moving along. And I think that the game is definitely going to need something like that in the long run. I'm not sure if we're going to get that again in the short term. There's a lot of things that they have to do, practically speaking, in the short term. They don't want to put more load on the servers than they already have. And add-ons can put a lot of load on a server. If you have an API that's going to dump a lot of data kind of in real time, that's going to be, put a huge load on the server. And so I think we're going to see add-ons eventually, maybe not for a while, but it's probably something that will come.
Yeah, and I guess as you were talking about that, I'm sitting here thinking about the flea market and how I was a total auction house junkie on WoW. And it's like, there's really no reason not to, right? Is the way I'm looking at it because I want it. I think the challenge with add-ons is that if you open up the API that way, it allows for like overlay type stuff. And so I think Tarkov would have this really hard time like saying, yeah, no overlay anything while in game. And maybe it could be a stat dump after the raid was over. But maybe that's the reason that they couldn't do something like this, because while it's an MMO and add-ons are very common to MMOs, the FPS and PvP always on nature of Tarkov, I think it might be a slippery slope of what you allow from an overlay perspective or an add-on.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could possibly address that, though, by locking the interface when you're playing in a raid and just changing the interface outside of raid to be customizable. So, change your flea market interface to be customizable to some kind of mass sorting add-on or something like that. Although I got to give them props. I mean, the in-game interface for the flea market's not bad. There's just no way to do any customizable database searching or retention of pricing or, kind of tracking of things that you can do in other large MMOs. And because of that, you have to do it outside of it manually, which is a lot of work, which is probably honestly good for the in-game economy, because as soon as you automate some of those things, then everything starts to get manipulated pretty fast.
Yeah.
Which is partially why I want it.
Right, it's good for the flea market and auction house junkies, but for the average player, I guess I don't know that it really affects anything, right? Because when you go to the flea market, you look at the price, you make your snapshot decision of what to do, and you sell it. But I do think that while the interface on the flea market is really good, it's just simple little things. Like, again, we're dreaming right now. Our main topic on our show notes is wish list, right? And I'm sitting here dreaming like, I just wish I could save a couple filters on the flea market. I wish I could just save, have a few different ones. Like if I'm building guns, I wish I could just have a couple filters that I could push and it would be, traders only, barters only, and certain items, or I'm looking for functional items or non-functional, and I could save those rather than having to reset up all my filters every time I build a gun and then I got to go buy something or sell something. So it is really good for just being base game level, but compared to other MMOs that are a little more fleshed out in this area, it's not super advanced. And I think it's okay. I just look at it and say, man, there's a huge opportunity here to make this something really, really cool because of just how awesome the traders and the hideout and finding stuff in raid and how all of that interacts. How, they update pricing all the time based on demand. So, like, price fixing and price setting is already challenging in this game because the traders are oftentimes setting the floor on stuff, which, again, World of Warcraft doesn't do that. And that's probably the biggest fleshed out auction house API add on everything. But I don't know. There's just an opportunity here, I think. I'm not blinded by the fact that I have a different lens on this and would love to see more fleshing out of the flea market.